pieces, then any work is simple. 90% of the cases, if any problem come in Microsoft Excel, many people are failed to complete just because one reason, they see at the macro level. Okay, they are not sure about the object. Even they sure about the object, they are not sure about how they need to achieve it because they don't put on the paper. Any assignment, if you want to achieve through technology, you must need to put on the paper step by step. That is what exactly your Power Query is doing. Now, let me go back. As I said, this data, I want to get into my Microsoft Excel. Now, what I can simply do, I can go to the, I can go to the Home tab. Yeah, let me go back to the Home tab, close and load to. I'll tell you, there are 4 options. Now you need some transformation, the output where you need to keep it. Do you want to keep it as a table? If you want to keep it directly into the pivot table, can you tell me when this is important? Let's say I'm taking it the data, fixed asset register of a telecom company. Do you think fixed asset register can fit into one single sheet of telecom company? Impossible, because one sheet of Microsoft Excel can have maximum 1 million records. But if you, I've worked for Indus Towers, Vodafone, for special assignments. When you try to download the FAR, one sheet is not sufficient. 3-4 sheets are there. That means they have 3 million, 4 million fixed assets. Very difficult to put into the Excel. But why I want to get the entire data should load into my Microsoft Excel. I want to do some calculation. So if that is the case, I can directly get the data into the pivot table report. That means the question automatically answered. Don't ask me what is the limit for Power Query to have the database at the back end. There is no limit. As long as your infrastructure support, as long as your RAM supports, as long as your space supports, it can be unlimited data. Okay. Now, otherwise you can even get the data as a pivot table chart. Otherwise, even you can get the data as a connection. Now I want to get my data into the pivot table. Let me keep the cursor here where you want. I will just keep the cursor here. Click OK. Automatically the data comes here. Now, what is the automation? I'll simply put the name. Let me put my other name. Let's say Vinish Agarwal. Now what I need to do? I added my data into my source. This is my final data using the Power Query, right? Now let me little zoom in. Okay, have a look now. I'll go to the data. I will just refresh all my queries. Now once I refresh all the queries, this query also will refresh. What are the steps it is there? It will go back and take the source. It will take this table. Then what is the next step? It will split the data. Then it's going to arrange the data, rename the columns, add the index column, rearrange the columns, and finally it's going to give my data here. How much time it has taken? Less than seconds time. Because the data is there in the same Excel sheet. This is what actually the Power Query does. Now it is your imagination what type of work you can do. Now let me go back to the real work what we can do with this. Now I'll just show you one data. There is a data here. Multiple Excel workbooks is there. But before me even going this, let me explain you. I'm sure many of you may be doing forensic audits. Yes, right? Yeah, even regular audit also. But in the case of forensic audit, when we go, they give maximum time of 5 days, 4 days. Some of the resolution professionals not even give time for 2 days. They want immediately the report. But once you go to the audit, they give you 10 GB file, 20 GB, hard disk. With 20 GB hard disk, having hundreds of files. But how can you complete the audit within 2 days? By the time you go and open every file, more 2 days is over. Then where you will see what content is there, what type of data you have to capture and so on. So my suggestion to all of you, if that is the case, what I want is, I want the index of all the files in that folders and so on. So that if I know in my hard disk all the files at one place, then I can start filtering the data based on the name, based on the file type, based on the date it accessed, based on the date it modified and so on. Now what I am going to do, let's go to the data. I am trying to take the folder of my downloads. My download I don't know. Since when I am downloading, I am directly selecting the downloads folder. Let me click open. Now what it is trying to do, it is trying to read the entire folder of downloads. And generally, when you go to any particular folder, how many parameters or elements you can find for a file? File name, size, date modified, file type. Other than these 4, can you find any other thing? No. However, there are many it captured, but it display only 4. But now here you see what is the content of the file, name of the file, file extension, date accessed, date modified, date created, attributes. So many attributes it's going to give you along with the folder path. Now I'll click just transform. I'll not do anything. Loaded. I have taken this data into the transformation. Now let me go towards the right side. I want to expand all the attributes. There are so many attributes are there. I want to expand all these attributes. Leave it whether it is useful or not. Just expand. Now you can see every file of folder of subfolder of subfolder of subfolder. File also it capture. I have not done anything. I just expanded all the attributes. Till here any question? Nothing. I have not written any single formula till now for your information. Now what I need to do? I want this data to go back into my Microsoft Excel. Because I got the hard disk, I connected to the Power Query read every file in the hard disk and I got here. Now let me go back, close this pane. This is whatever data. I don't want this data to be seen. If you want, you can start filtering the data with the name. So obviously in the audit, file names are very important, especially with a file name called adjustment, personal, MD file. Okay, some people keep the file name itself is secret. Okay, so I surprised why they are keeping, because if I can see it directly, that's the only file I open. Okay, any of the file name which recently one employee left, terminated from the office, any file with the name of the employee, any file with the name of MD, you can start doing the filtering like anything. You can even start looking into your extension. I don't want to do anything. I'm sure you all know the pivot table. I'll just go to the insert. I will insert the pivot table. Let me click OK. I have not done anything. I just made the pivot table. Now what I want is, are you finding here date created? Yes. Let me take, otherwise date modified. Let me take and put into the rows. By default, when you take the date into the pivot table, either in the rows or in the column, it automatically group. If I don't want any grouping, then what I need to do? Right click. Otherwise, any other option? Control Z. Okay. So, because when you are keeping into the group, it is doing 2 steps automatically. Taking the dates, right clicking and grouping. That means I don't want the last step, Control Z. Now I want how many values are here. Simple, right click now I want to group. Because it is the date automatically, I want to group year wise, quarter wise, month wise. Click OK. Don't say that, sir, this is tough, because I have not written any single formula. Just drag and drop. Now let me take year in the columns. Now you close this. Otherwise, because years are very, this is fine. Now let me little zoom less so that I can see. Let me put into a proper format of tabular. Now you can see it. How is your data? My downloads is having 783 files are there. In that 2013 June month, 26 files got opened and modified, not created, modified. When before I am starting my audit, if the person started changing their files, that means that may be a starting point for me to start investigating. Okay, I'll tell you one classic, my experience. When we have done one forensic audit for the same resolution professional, and we have done for the fixed assets, exclusive fixed assets. But they got some, hard disk. The client is saying, without even asking, 10 times the same question. Sir, this hard disk we did not touch for the last 2 months. Okay, that is fine. One time if you say okay. Even after 10 minutes he is saying to the RP, sir, we did not touch this hard disk for the last 2 months. That is also okay. Third time also he is saying. Then once he went out, sir, he is asking, without even asking you the question, he said we did not touch this hard disk in last 2 months. That means there is something red flag. Saran sir, what we can do? Just take that hard disk, connect to your Power Query. This is the small exercise we have done. Is it there anything, rocket science here? Nothing. We understood there are more than 30 to 40 files which modified in the last 1 week's time. Okay, that itself is a starting point. In any audit, you know, the starting point itself will take a lot of time for us to understand. Once you know the path, you know how you can go. Some of the assignments, even after 80% of the time, we get the starting point. But 20% is more than sufficient to complete the audit. So what I am trying to tell you, in the same case what sir was telling, even if you have the server, at the end of the day, now I got connected to my downloads. How many files are there? Can anyone tell? 783. Now I'll go back to my downloads. I'll put one file here, right click, new. Let me put a file name called, let's say, FA, where is the file? I don't know because it is, yeah, let's say FDP SIRC. Now one file got added. Yes, I'll go back to my Excel. Now still it was 783. Now what I need to do? Go to the data, refresh, your query will get refreshed, this will not get refreshed, right click, refresh this pivot table. Now what is the number? 784. Before every day you go out, you can just start doing this. I am sure you can have a control on the files what you are modifying. When this is possible, why not it is possible for me to read the entire data? Now I am coming back to the same question. I have 12 GSTR 2A. And many people said, simple, we'll copy and we'll paste it. That is what anyone can do. Now let us start looking into the append activity. The most important functionality in the entire transformation here is, are you finding the combined queries? What are the options? Merge, append. What is the difference between merge and append? What is the difference? Append means? Simply adding the data one below other. When I am trying to analyze 12 months data, first I want to consolidate. If I want to consolidate, I want to keep the data one below other. Merge means, let's say one table is having GSTR number, then rate of the, product number, then rate. The other table is having, along with all other fields, the GSTR, product ID. But I want to get this rate to the other table, I want to merge it. In Microsoft Excel, to take one column of the table into the other column of the table, what is the function you write? VLOOKUP function. I'm sure we all are masters in the VLOOKUP function. Okay, very good, simple. Now, I'll take an example of append, then I'll take one example of merge, then you will get to know the entire concept. Now let me take you to my example. I will just go to my example here. Now what I can do, multiple workbook, single worksheet. Meaning, in this folder, how many files are there? So many files are there, month-wise. Let me open one file. Now, in this, how many sheets are there? One sheet is there. Now, what I want, this is the folder, every month will update. If new month file is there, I am going to keep in this. But if I go to my file, I'll refresh, that file should automatically come. Okay, concentrate what I am going to do here. Can you tell me what is the thing which I need to load? Is it Excel file or folder? I should read the folder. Let's go to the folder. Now where is the folder? Go to this, multiple workbook, single worksheet. Let me click OK. Now as usual, like downloads, it read all the files. Now let me go to transform. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. I don't want any other data except binary and name. Right click these two, select these two, okay, name, then content. I want this sequence. Right click, I don't want any other column. But where is the data? The data is there in this binary. Fortunately, your Power Query, one single cell, can capable to store the binary data, tabular data, list data, record data, and n number of types. But how you can extract the data from binary? You need not to again do the rocket science. Just very simple. I'll go to add a column, custom column. That means how in Microsoft Excel, you'll go to the next column, start writing a VLOOKUP function. I'll click add custom column. Okay, if you want, probably you can note down this function. Otherwise, I'm going to share these files. Whatever the working files which I'm sharing into this folder, it's a real time. Later after the session, you refresh your Dropbox link, that automatically appear. Let me put this data as a inside. The name I kept as a inside. You can keep your own name. Now could you please tell me what is the function I need to write here? Excel dot workbook, open bracket. For your information, M functions in the Power Query are case sensitive. What is the meaning of case sensitive?
Lower upper.
Whatever it says uppercase, you need to write uppercase. If it says no lowercase, you have to put lowercase. You cannot simply put, now let me zoom little in so that you can see the function. Could you see this function? Now whenever I see W, it will not work, lowercase. Because at the bottom you can find token literal is expected, there is some error. Now let me put uppercase. This is exactly like Microsoft Excel function. Once I keep open bracket, could you please tell me how many arguments are there? One input it is looking for. What is that input? Sharon, if you want to get what is there in the inside of Microsoft Excel workbook, select where is the workbook. That workbook is there in the content column. Now double click, close bracket. Is there anything here? Great thing? Nothing. Just click OK. So that don't see what is there. Just click OK. Now I don't want this binary, delete. Now if you click every table, it is having lot of other information. Whenever you find this type of symbol, that means it is having so much content. Do you want to expand? This symbol even earlier also we found where? Attributes. When I have taken all the folders now, there is one column attributes I expanded. Now what I am going to do, this particular symbol I will click. Without doing anything, I will simply click OK. So that everything got expanded. Till here any question? I just loaded a folder, then I removed all of the columns except binary and the name. Then I have used a small function. What is the function? Excel.workbook. Because you want to get the data from Excel. Now I'll ask you the question back. If I want to get the data from PDF, because that is possible, right? Client can give the every month bank statement. But every month instead of me converting into the Excel doing the analysis, I'll put a bank statement into a folder, I'll come back into my Excel, I'll refresh, the bank statement will automatically convert and do entire transformation based on my work. Okay, for the PDF, what is the function? PDF.tables. Okay, simple. I'll tell you maybe after the session how you can get all the list of the functions. Just go and search what is the function, start looking for 5 to 10 minutes, then you can understand. Learning the Power Query doesn't mean learning all 700 functions. Learning how to use the Power Query. Okay, now very simple. Now I don't want any other column, but I want only the sheets. Where is the sheet? Kind. Filter for the sheet. What is the meaning of it? It is saying, Sharon, now you loaded Excel. In the Excel, I can identify two objects. One object is sheet object, the other one is table object. Okay, but if the sheet in the sheet table is also there, then what will happen? Both will recognize. That means duplicate will happen. So you have to be very careful. That's the reason I don't want table. I just want the sheet. I'll click OK. Now I don't want anything except the name and this data. Right click, remove other columns because I don't want. Now expand all these tables. Click OK. Don't do anything. Just go back to the home. Load back into your Excel, and I am 100% sure that all the 6 files got updated here. Go to the first file, second file, third file, and so on. I'm not going into much transformation, how to remove the headers and so on. I'm just trying to tell you how you can append the data one below other. Now what is our job? Copy this, paste here as the 7th item. Can you see here? Now let me name it as a 7 July. Open this file. Once I open this file, now just for the understanding that this is a new file, let me put 99999. Save this file. Close this file. Now this is what my 6 files, right? Now what I need to do? Do you think will it come? Yes or no? First you need to trust your Excel. Okay, then only you can perform. Okay, even after performed this activity, many are still doubt whether it is really coming or not. Okay, just refresh. Your 7th file data got appended one below other. Now you understand. You got the bank statements. I have taken first month bank statement. Directly I loaded the folder. I have taken there. I did some transformation. Transformation including removing the extra rows, removing extra columns, then filtering it. make sure that your format has to be same. Okay, don't take one PDF file of your audit report, another PDF file of your bank statement, one more something else. Obviously, structure has to be same. Okay, then you perform it every month, and also you can do a lot of work there. But since time is not there, I could not go further. Okay, thank you. So, in the transformation, you can do a lot of things. In the bank statement, in the description, cash is there. If it is a debit, automatically the entry should come right side. You can do that transformation also. Okay, once you become an expert slowly, then you can start adding extra columns. So every month, once you keep a PDF file there, come back, refresh, automatically, based on the description, it can fill 60% of the job. That is what the intelligence, because based on the logic. Okay, now, any question till here? Let me save this appended folder data. I know what you may be saying. Sharan, in the real sense, okay, this is sample Power Query case. I'm just saving all these files so that you can go back and open all these files. Now you may be saying, Sharan, this may not be proper example for GSTR 2A case studies. Why? Because in GSTR 2A Excel, if I download, how many sheets will be having? So many sheets. B2B, B2C, take note, and so on. If I want to append all those, one particular sheet, one particular workbook, all the sheets, then so many months, all the workbooks, how you can do? Now, can anyone help me what I need to do? Now, I think this may be a correct example. Please have a look. There is a year data. Please have a look. There is a folder. In this folder, year-wise you have the data. That is 2017. Let me open 2017 file. There are 4 quarters data. At the bottom you can see, 3 months data, Jan, Feb, March. And let me close this. Let me open even 2018 data. It is also having 3 months at the bottom, Jan, Feb, March. Let me close it. Now, each Excel file is having more than one worksheet. Like that, so many workbooks are there. How I need to do this? If you know the earlier one, this is very simple. Because I am going one level above to the previous example. Yes or no? Now, you please tell quick steps, I'll complete it. Because time is very limited, we'll complete. This case study, data, what I need to do? Get data. I need to read the folder. This is the folder. Click OK. Now it's time to load. Don't look into that. Just click transform. In the transform, I don't want anything except the name and binary. Right click. Remove other columns. Now what is there in the binary? I have to read it. Yes or no? Yes. Now for which what I need to do? Add column. Custom function. I want to know what is there in the inside. Outlook. I'll just put my own name. The column name. What is the function? I told you previously. Excel dot. Very tough function, right? Simple. Excel dot workbook. It is looking for a binary. Just in the content column binary is there. Close it. Click OK. Now I don't want the content. Right click and remove. Now I want to expand what is there in this. Okay, I'm just unchecking this because your name will come with outlook.name, outlook.data. That's the reason I don't want original column name. Click OK. I don't want anything again. Directly you go to the kind. If table and sheet both are there, select the sheet or table based on your requirement. In this case, my kind is only sheet. That means no tables are there. Now let the sheet be as it is. Now what I want, just name. Okay, if you want, maybe you can also keep it this one because which is sheet name. Then I want data. Other than these 3, I don't want anything. Now what I want, go to the data, click OK. Now what do you want? I don't want a header from every data. So if you look into the amount column, I don't want the header amount. Okay, so customer also came because the names may be reshuffled. I'll tell you in those cases. A and C. I'll tell you, see, this is the case study. If the names are even reshuffled, then what we need to do is the question. Okay, if the names are, for example, first column is customer area amount. Let's say in the next file, area customer amount. In the next file, amount customer area. Even then you can automatically do the work. Okay, that is little extra transformation. Maybe if you can understand, I can cover. Otherwise it creates a confusion. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, before me doing here, 1 second, I'll tell you. Just give me 1 minute. If you see the table, see what is happening here. I'm sure you can see the table sample here. Customer, area, amount. Now if I can go down here, maybe the last table, what it is here? Amount, area, customer. Now I stuck up here. Tell me how to resolve this. Like this, there may be a case tomorrow. How to resolve this? Simple. There is one transformation in the Power Query called, anyone? Promote header. If I can promote the first row automatically as a header, then it automatically reshuffle the headers based on the header name. If this is the case, what I am going to do, thank you sir, you asked a relevant question. I'll just go here, I'll remove this step, I don't want this step. Okay, I hope you all can understand, little advanced but you can easily understand. Now what I want to add one more custom column now. One more custom column. What I want here, let me give it with headers. Now this, here I want to write a function. Now do anyone know, is there any function which can promote the headers in the Power Query? I know. Table dot promote headers. There is a function, right? Don't worry. Obviously it asks you, Sharan, correct. You asked me to promote the first row as a header. Give me where is the table. Can you tell me where is the table out of these 3 columns? Data. Close bracket. Because in the data, every item is nothing but a table. Now this function will apply to every table. In that every table, first row will automatically become a header. Now, if I click OK, now automatically extra column created. Now this is the beauty of your Power Query. Now you see this data. Here, header is not promoted. But if I go here, header got promoted. Now if I go to the last sheet, now if I go here, header automatically got promoted. Now what is the beauty of this, you know? Even if you expand now, because Excel Power Query automatically remember where is the header. Under the correct header, correct column it will fit. Okay. Now is this column required for me? No. Let me right click, remove. Earlier instead of expanding directly the data, now I am expanding with the header, click OK. Now you need not to see anything. Directly you close and load. Because you need not to remove the header now because header automatically came. Now wonderful. Check it out. All your files you can find here. Check it out till 2013. Now what is my job? Go here. 2024 is not there. 2013 file I'll copy and I'll paste here. Let me make it as a 2016 file. Open this file. Now the Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June is there. I want to have even the July. Let me little zoom in so that you can. Is it visible? Now let me go to the June here. Let me copy the same data. Let's copy this. Control C. I'll go to the next sheet. I'll paste here. What I can do? I can simply go here. I will paste. But what I'm going to do, I want area. I want to keep area here now. I don't want B column. Let it reshuffle. Do you think it automatically captured? What is this file name 2016? Save it, close it. Now if I go and refresh, can anyone tell what will happen? It will pick up 2016 file. It will pick up all the sheets of 2016 file. Then it looks into the column. Because I promoted the column, it keeps the correct values under the correct column. Refresh, boom, done. Right? Check it out, 2016, January, February, March, April, May, June. I kept an extra column called July. That July also, though it is not in the correct order, it has created. See how much beautiful appending you can do. Now you can expand this case study to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. I know obviously the question will come into your mind now. What is the question? SIRCOFICAI, I have a little peculiar question now. I have a folder, in that there are 5 folders are there, product wise, in that there are so many Excel files are there, in each Excel file so many sheets are there. Do you want me to cover this? If you are saying yes means you did not listen anything.